Forget what you think you know about the Porsche 911's little brother. This might just be the best pound-for-pound Porsche on the market today. The Cayman cost around £40,000 when it launched in 2005, but you can get a nice one today for between £10,000 and £15,000. With its 2.7 litre naturally aspirated flat-six boxer engine, you get 245 horsepower and a slightly asthmatic 201 foot-pound of torque. At 1,300 kilos, that gives the Cayman a power-to-weight ratio of 188 horsepower per tonne. As soon as you sit in the Cayman, it feels like you're slipping into a place that's snug, simple, and designed entirely around the driver. The cabin's cosy without feeling cramped, and you feel like you're there for one reason only: to drive the car. When it launched in 2005, Jeremy Clarkson christened the Cayman the Cockster, which, although quite funny, gave completely the wrong impression about this car. The implication that it was a poser's Porsche, but if we're being honest, posers are more likely to drive a 911 than one of these. Which is why I'll be driving a GT3 RS in a couple of weeks, so make sure you're subscribed to see that. It's long been suspected that Porsche have artificially capped the performance of the Cayman. I've heard stories from when they were doing development testing, and it's said that the Cayman GT4 RS was actually faster around the Nürburgring than the GT3. And honestly, it makes sense that it would be. With the engine sitting ahead of the rear axle rather than hanging around on the rear bumper, it's got a fundamental balance advantage over the 911, so it makes sense that it would be quicker with the same power. But the thing is, outright speed isn't really the point. James Hunt once said his favourite thing to drive was an Austin A35 van because he could drive it completely flat out everywhere. And that's the thing with cars like the Cayman. You're not constantly throttling back outrageous power. You can use all of it, and there's something deeply satisfying about that. The base model Cayman does 0 to 60 miles an hour in 5.9 seconds with a top speed of 160, which is not really that quick, but it comes with one major benefit. You get to listen to this for just a bit longer between gear shifts. Like most cars, the Cayman has traction control, but for the life of me I can't work out why, because it certainly doesn't need it. I drove the car in the wet yesterday and it didn't kick in once. I think that's because the car has what's called a low torque to traction ratio, which is a metric that I just invented. The gearbox is silky smooth, the changes are just lovely, silky smooth. It kind of falls into gear. You don't really have to put any effort into changing gear. You kind of, the merest suggestion of where you want the lever to go, and it just falls into the next gear. Absolutely lovely, top quality stuff from Porsche. Kind of feels like I'm not going to do it because I don't think Aggie would be too happy about it, but it feels like you could very easily flat shift in this car, by which I mean full throttle, bit of a blip on the clutch and bang straight into gear. It's one of those gearboxes, you probably wouldn't want to do that in most road cars. I feel like this one could certainly take it, and it might even like it. In terms of the handling, that's really what this car is all about, and really I can't speak highly enough of it. I've driven it over the last couple of days in various different conditions, managed to hustle it a little bit at times, but you can just, so I haven't tested the real limits of the car, but you can just feel how, I don't want to use the word capable because James accuses me of using the same words in every video, but it's just such a well-balanced and feedback-giving car. The texture you get through the steering, the way you just feel planted in the middle of the car, just in front of the engine, the way the car leans, it doesn't roll too much, but you know, it's got loads of feel, and you know, the fast bumper rebound on the dampers is not too severe, and I mean, it's one of the best handling cars in the world. I don't know what more you can say than that. In terms of the brakes, when I first braked fairly firmly, I thought, they don't feel quite up to scratch. And as we were filming around the car earlier today, I noticed that the front rotors are basically the same size as the rears, which is kind of unusual. I'm sure Porsche have got a reason for doing that, but I do feel like the brakes could do with being upgraded a little bit, and maybe if I had one of these cars, I might be seeing if I could get some 911 brakes to put on the front. They're not dangerous. They do the job, but I feel they could be a little bit better. Real quick one, if you live in England or Wales and you'd like to get access to top speeding solicitors for a fraction of the cost of going direct, check out Drive Protect. In terms of the driving position, really not quite sure what to say about it other than it's perfect for me. Weirdly, when I picked this car up from its owner, Aggie, I didn't even have to adjust the seating position. I didn't realise that you were that short, Aggie, but and you know, it's just I feel like you could put the seat in one position and whether you're tall or short, it would still be pretty comfortable because the car is so well laid out and so well designed. It's the perfect driving position. There's no other word for it, really. It's Friday the 13th as we record this today, and luckily this car's owner, Aggie, says he's not superstitious, so let's give it some stick. To the Adam Drive score out of 10. As usual, we'll be rating the car on fun, comfort, handling, and how it makes you feel. Starting with fun, if you're a driver like me and you just love the pure driving experience, it's really, you can't get much better than this car. It's absolutely superb. James has forbidden me from using the word nice in this video, but I just did, just to annoy him. It's really nice. I mean, it's a great car. I think it's a 9.5 out of 10. If you're a driver, it's a 9.5 out of 10. For comfort, I was actually shocked how good the suspension is in this car. I think it's arguably the best suspension of any road car I've ever driven. And I don't mean any sports car I've ever driven. I'm talking about any car I've ever driven. It's uncanny how good it is, except when you turn PASM or PASM on, and then it's absolutely dreadful. I don't know what on earth Porsche were thinking. Maybe it's really good on track or something, I don't know, but it's absolutely horrendous on the road. So as long as you've got PASM off, very comfortable. Also, the driving position is, well, it's perfect. And the steering wheel's lovely, just the right thickness, the right feel. All the ergonomics are great. It's nice and simple inside. You know where everything is. The pedals are well set up for heel and toe. You know, Porsche know what they're doing, don't they? So for comfort, I think I'm going to have to give the car 9 out of 10. In terms of the handling, that really is the party piece of this car. I mean, I don't know what to say about it to do it justice. You know, the Porsche have built this car to handle, I would say, better than any other sports car on the planet. Obviously, I've not driven every car on the planet, and I've not driven this car on track, but I've certainly given it some stick. Drove it in the wet yesterday as well, and it's superb. Frankly, I can't fault it. So on that basis, it's a 10 out of 10, which I think is a first ever on Adam Drives. Having said all these nice things about the car, it's certainly not a 10. I can't quite put my finger on it, but it's just a little bit German. I feel like if this car had a few Italian touches, it would certainly be kind of up there at the 10 mark. But maybe it's like a psychological thing that, you know, I know that this car's been throttled back a bit, and it's kind of like it's been positioned in the Porsche range, not really naturally. It's been positioned above the Boxster, but below the 911, and it feels kind of artificial in that way. So that has some sort of an effect on, for me at least, on how I look at the car. If I was being completely objective, it would be getting up around, you know, the 9+ about how the car makes you feel. And I have to say, when you're driving it hard, you know, it is a 10. But when you factor in everything all together, and you know, it's like all of the nonsense about where it's positioned in the Porsche range and how common they are, things like this, you know, how it doesn't feel quite exclusive enough somehow. But having said that, it's a 10 grand car. So I know I'm waffling. I'm trying to make up my mind as I'm talking to you, but I think the way the car makes you feel. Actually, James, what do you think it should be? You didn't know James was here, did you? Hello! I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure.
I mean, from a passenger, it's very comfy. We've sat in it most of the day today, and I have zero complaints. I've got legroom, the seat is comfy, the armrests are good, and just as a passenger viewing the driving position, it looks like driving position is fantastic. You've got the Alcantara steering wheel, gear gaiter, handbrake.
So you may have forgotten what I just asked you though. I said, how does the car make you feel? We've dealt with the comfort side of things, the handling. How does the car make you feel? Is it just me, or is there something a bit German about it?
There is, but is that just the fact it works?
Might
you say
be.
You want a bit more Italian, but who wants electrical issues?
Cue the comments on that one. I think, okay, I'm going to give my instinctive answer. I think the way it makes me feel is 8 out of 10. Bringing the total to. So should you buy a base model Porsche Cayman? Well, I can make the answer very simple for you. This is one of the best driver's cars I've ever driven. So if you love driving, yeah, you should. And I happen to know how much money this car's had spent on it in maintenance before its owner Aggie took possession of it. Are you sitting down? £60,000. So Aggie, if you're ever thinking of selling this car, I suspect you're not, but if you are, hit me up. So the Cayman might not be the fastest Porsche in the world, but out here on real roads, it might just be the most fun. In one of the next videos, we're going to be driving a GT3 RS.
Sweet, man.
Carbon ceramic brakes. Somewhere a bit special, so make sure you subscribe to see that. Till the next video, see you later.